I met Nate my senior year of high school. I was working in a dietary department at a long-term care facility. My boss knew him from an NA organization, Narcotics Anonymous. And she was telling me that day that I got the perfect man for you. And I was like, yeah, okay. But he ended up coming up to my work, and that's where we met and just hit it off. Well, after his father passed, it put a lot of strain on him. It was hard to take. He also lost his sponsor, and that's the man that saved his life. Brought him into NA, took him under his wing, and after he lost the two important men in his life, kind of felt beaten down. And after we had Samuel, it was just a little too much stress all at once, I think. My husband, when he was murdered, they left him in a house, dead, for several days. And I needed to know what happened, exactly how it happened. The FBI showed up at my door that Wednesday before I found out and told me that Nate was actually involved in a bank robbery, that his car was seen at the crime scene and ended up ultimately torched. So the FBI put me in their little SUV, and I was trying to drive him around to places where I knew that Nate was, trying to see where he was. And I was texting him and calling him, and he wasn't answering. But they ended up saying that he wasn't involved at all, that his car was stolen. That Sunday, the FBI came back to my house and told me that they had found him in a house abandoned where the house was caught on fire. They said there was a ringleader, the man that watched the door, and the man that shot him. They explained to me that the man that was at the door was like a pawn. He was just a lookout. He didn't do anything criminal at that time, but we disagreed. And they said that he would testify against the shooter and the ringleader if he would be out on probation. So, a house full of people and no reliable witnesses because of drugs or other instances, that this was the only choice that we had, that they had to use the pawn to testify against them. But ultimately it ended up no testifying or anything because they made a plea agreement. I miss his presence. I miss his voice. And I miss having that best friend. I'm raising a son, and I see my husband and him every day. And it's pretty horrible not to experience that with him. It's the man I married. And for something that horrible to have happened to you, I have to feel it. I have to try to put myself in that situation. I needed to see what happened. I couldn't leave it to speculation because it was honestly making me go crazy. I needed to know the facts. I needed to see it to make it real.